How's the band doing?
I'm doing good. We've been a bit busy trying to get ready for the tour, but excited for the album release. So thank you. I hope you're doing good.
I am, yes. So definitely we're going to talk about the album and the tour, but I did want to ask first. So I know you are local to LA, as am I, and unfortunately, we have been hit with a bit of some issues, especially all the fires and everything. So I just wanted to ask you, how are you? Were you affected? If you are you okay now?
Well, I appreciate it. I'm good. We're all good. Um, we kind of got an evacuation notice, but um, the fire didn't come close enough, so we were lucky not to have to evacuate or weren't affected. What about you?
I was good. I lost power for a little bit, but other than that, I was fine. So I'm glad you guys are okay too. Yeah, it's definitely
Like,
completely devastating what happened.
I know. Yeah.
Yeah. But now that I'm know that you're good, that's awesome. Let's talk. We have a new album, an upcoming tour on your horizon. How are you feeling? Is it feeling like a really festive, like almost like the holidays are here kind of vibe, or are you freaking out? Like how are you doing?
Well, honestly, I still can't believe we got it done and it's coming out. I'm still, sometimes I wake up and I'm like, did we have to do more songs? Because it's just, we were, we had we had a lot of touring in between and we were working on the album. Then we had the European tour come up. So we had a bit of a rush. So we're still in that mindset because now we're preparing for the tour and then filming all the music videos. So it's been kind of go, go, go nonstop. But it just feels so rewarding that finally people are hearing the music and all of the songs are coming out March 7th. And we're so proud and excited for people to hear them and to play them live. So it is a bit like Christmas. Yeah.
Nice. That's so exciting. Um, I noticed though that you recently joined well you joined Napalm Records like shortly after you did that tour with DragonForce. Can you kind of walk me through how that opportunity came about and the congratulations for first of all, because that's an amazing thing. Napalm Records is completely awesome. Um, how did that opportunity come across for you guys? And like what was that like signing up and going through all the paperwork and legalities and everything?
Well, thank you. Yeah, they are very awesome people at Napalm, and we're very lucky and happy to be on board. Um, so we've been, we've fulfilled our obligations to our previous label. So we were looking for a new home for the band, and it was kind of a natural progression in a way because we were kind of already introduced and knew Napalm knew of us, and obviously we know Napalm and we love so many bands that are on Napalm. And then our management kind of made the introduction um, during the tour, DragonForce tour. So we met some of the people from Napalm um, in New York, and then also we've toured with Meek, who works with Napalm. We've toured UK with his band Temperance. So we've kind of knew already people there. So once the introduction was made, we made two songs, which was Rogue and Martyr, that are on this album. So that kind of got everything solidified. And then we went on tour and then came back and finished the album. And now it's coming out. So
Awesome.
yeah, it's a long process.
Oh, I bet. So the fans, they have been really like truly embracing your new music. How does it feel for you personally, for the band as a whole, just to see such a positive reaction from the fans?
Thank you. I'm always, we started from absolutely nothing. So the only reason we are here is because of the fans, because people support what we do. We have people that support us from the very beginning of the band. So we're just super grateful and excited that people are connecting with the music and you know diving into this new adventure with us. So it's of course it feels amazing, and it's kind of like growing a community, growing a world, especially when we go on tour and we see familiar faces and meet new people. It's always like a, you know, very, very positive times.
Yeah, the fans are the best, absolutely. Okay, so the album. So excited to talk to you about this. So it definitely feels like you're kind of pulling together threads from your previous records and then kind of bringing that into this new one. Um, so how do you see this project, this new album? How do you see it as a whole from your like beginning of the storytelling journey so far into this? Like, how did you kind of bridge that gap into this new album?
Yeah, well, it's definitely a continuation of the album set forth by Universe. That kind of was the first time what put us on the trajectory to where we are today. Um, so when we made Hologram and I made the graphic novel for it, it kind of took the story further, but it also left us on a cliffhanger. So for me personally, I was very excited to continue the story. So I already kind of had the ideas in my mind where I wanted the songs to go, but at the same time, you're kind of inspired by what's currently going on in your life. Rogue, this first song that we wrote for this album, when we were in this transition between the labels, and we were actually going through some hard times, and that song was almost like a push to just go rogue and keep going for what you believe. So to me, the songs are in my mind continuation of the story that I kind of uh, set forth by these records. Talk about very futuristic themes. These days it's not very futuristic anymore. The whole merger of consciousness and artificial intelligence. I started talking about it since 2017 because I don't know, these topics always interest me. I love talking about human mind and kind of exploring and expanding the limits of what we can do. And um, this was kind of the first time that I take a stance on what I believe with the whole conversation between uh, consciousness and artificial intelligence and how AI is affecting our life. Because before, I always left it up to the listener to decide how they feel about it. So to me, it's an important album because I really uh, share all of my deepest thoughts and feelings about it, the deepest questions that have been on my mind. um, and also musically, this album is much more expansive because we have an 8-string guitar now, which
Oh,
kind of added a whole new sonic dimension to the music. And then you know all the cinematic soundscapes that I love to create on my keyboard. I think we just took it a step further with this album. And also vocally, I always try to push and expand my limits as well, and just go with the music. So I think on many levels, this album is kind of the um, pinnacle of what we've been doing so far.
wow, that's awesome. You did mention AI, and I did want to talk about that a little bit. Um, because I know you had the AI themes in previous releases, and goodness gracious, AI is like absolutely everywhere. It's hard to tell like what's not AI at this
I
point. Uh, what kind of like sparked your kind of your early fascination with AI and incorporating it into, you know, your
know.
lifestyle basically and your music?
Hmm. a good question. Well, I've always been into, my dad is a scientist, so I've
Oh,
always
okay.
been into just, science in general. Um, Always read up on what's current. So maybe it was something that I was reading that it wasn't kind of mainstream yet, but also I read the book by Kurzweil, um, The Age of Spiritual Machines, and he really predicted a lot of crazy stuff with AI and just how technology is going to be so integrated into our daily lives. So, but for me, what's really interests me is human mind and how we interact with our environment and how it affects us on a spiritual level almost. And I think that's the main danger with AI is how it affects us, deep down, because I think I'm starting to see a little bit of trends about people getting discouraged, even in the artistic field, discouraged from creating because you can do so much with just pressing a button on some AI program. So I think that's the main danger is for it not to stop us from evolving um, creatively or expanding our mind or keep, pursuing something that's difficult. I think that's really important to remember. What makes us human as well is, our mind and our heart. We can, work in sync with that. And that's kind of the main lyrics behind prophecy. Merge my heart and mind. I think that's our superpower, that we are able to, think logically, and we still have, a powerful mind, computational mind, but at the same time, we also have instinct and we have feeling. And I think using that as our superpower is very important.
Yeah, definitely. It definitely can be very scary what AI can do. But I also think it's if it's used in the right ways, it's very
Mhm.
helpful, especially when it comes to creativity as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Um, so for kind of the way that you how do I want to word this? Sorry. Um, the the way that you personally kind of get inspired for whether it's, the art or, creating a new song and the music itself, what do you get your inspiration from? Is it kind of just like real world events that happen to you, any particular like films or books or TV shows, or even something like you see in the news that just kind of strikes a chord with you while you're in your writing process?
I think sometimes I really fear that one day I'll just have zero ideas. My
Oh
biggest fear.
no.
But I honestly think, as long as we are in this world and experiencing what's around us, there's always going to be inspiration. So for me, it's definitely part of, living and experiencing and going through all the ups and downs. But also, I am very curious about, what is, where our world is heading, asking questions. I've always been the one to ask questions, like what is beyond this reality, what is there that we can't see. And I love to write about it and I love to sing about it. It's kind of my way of, maybe I'm not going to be a scientist in this lifetime, but maybe it's kind of using that inquisitive mindset and realize that passion of mine through music. So it's a bit of both, and definitely, sometimes TV shows or movies make me think about stuff. For example, we had a song called Dark on Hologram, and that was inspired by the TV show Dark. So I absolutely
Nice.
loved it. But it's one of those shows where you have to keep notes because it's just so convoluted. It's a German show. But yeah, so it just depends. I mean, a lot of it comes from within. Like I just have, my mind goes in so many directions. So I like to kind of pick an idea and really think about it and create a world that I can escape to with that, all those ideas.
Nice. I love that. There's one song I did want to ask a question about. Hear Me. I feel like that was something so unique about this record, and it feels so incredibly powerful. How did you work like the piano to create such an emotional depth, but also like this very strong feeling of vulnerability as well?
You know, through writing this album, I was going through so many emotional roller coasters and just um it was a lot, and just to complete it in the time that we had, I don't know, I was like in another state of mind altogether. But Hear Me was a bit of an accident because we already finished everything and we were leaving on tour in like 3 days, I believe. And we were with our producer, Mike, and we were counting the tracks because we were sending them off to mixing. And we were all convinced that it was 10 songs. And then we were counting to nine. And I was like, there's no way it's nine.
Oh
There's
no.
10, it's 10 songs. And then we were like, no, Mike was like, there's nine. And Mike is always so calm and composed, and he's such a unique personality. We love Mike. It was like, just go home and write the keyboard, write everything on the piano. Like, yeah, I'll just go home and make a whole song in
Just
one
go home,
night.
make a song in 3 days. You got
Oh,
it.
no, in one day.
In
The
one day,
next day, I
goodness.
had to record the vocals for it.
Oh, goodness. Talk about pressure.
Yeah, so, but at that point, I'm like, you know, it is what it is. Um, so it was kind of cool for me because for me everything started on the piano. I grew up playing classical music. I never thought I'd be in a rock band, so it's kind of natural for me. I started a song on the piano anyway. So I just sat there and I asked the deepest questions that's been on my mind for most of my life, pretty much. You know, why am I here? What is this meaning? Where do we come from? Where do I come from? But at the same time, painting this, not painting, but exposing the vulnerability of, um, kind of it's scary to really have a voice in this world because, especially before when I was younger, I think I was much more conscious of what maybe others thought about me or my thoughts, or you're much more aware. Like these days, I think as you get older, you're a little bit of like, I'm me and whatever. But when you're growing up, I think you're much more conscious about it. And also, going through relationships. um Hear Me is about, talking about whether the other person really hears you, or like, are you understood? And it's easy to be misunderstood. Like, that's some of the lyrics from the songs. I feel like sometimes my intentions are one thing and they might be interpreted into something else, and that is what is scary about having a voice and um, being open with people, right? Because when you're open, you're exposing yourself, you're being vulnerable at that moment. So, yeah, it's a lot that's going on within that song, but it's deeply personal and meaningful, and it's like my soul right there.
I love that
Yeah.
so much. That's amazing. Um, I know we're kind of getting wrapped on time, but I did want to ask about the tour because obviously you have this great, awesome tour coming up. Can you tell us a little bit about it? Are you excited? Are you nervous? Obviously, you can't pick a favorite, but is there a place that you're really excited to perform at?
Well, yeah, there's a lot of emotions. Definitely, there's a bit of nerves for sure. There's a lot to prepare, a lot to work out, lots of excitement because playing these songs live is so much fun, and also seeing fans fans that have been supporting us, and meeting new ones. It's always like an exciting time, and touring with your Delane and Zandria, great European bands. So definitely looking forward to that. Um, it's hard to pick a favorite place. Um, we've some of the places we've played quite a few times, and some we've never played. So I'm always looking forward to this new adventures and seeing, new parts of the U.S. that we haven't been to yet, because we've covered pretty good ground so far. But also we have a hometown show at the Whiskey, so that's always exciting. Um,
Nice.
yeah, but I don't have to pick a favorite. Going, visiting Canada, we really loved playing Canada, so this will be our third time there. So really excited. Yeah.
Awesome. That's amazing. I'm really excited for you guys. I hope you guys have an amazing tour and an amazing time. Uh,
Thanks.
Thank you again for taking the time to speak to me and everything. Is there anything that you would like to add or a little hi to mom or hi to the fans or anything like that?
Well, yes, definitely. Well, hello to all our families for supporting us and all the fans. Like, once again, we are here because of people supporting us. So we're super grateful. And we have a giveaway. I made a huge canvas painting for this album, and we're giving that away March 8th. So
Oh,
that's
wow.
exciting. Yeah, we're going to be drawing the winner live from the tour. So should be fun. But yeah, I just want to thank everyone, and excited to unveil the music very soon. And thank you for having me, for giving me the platform to speak.